Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for joining me. We're working our way through my workbook, Taming the Toxic Workplace, available on Amazon.com and DebHollandLCSW.com. Thanks for coming back. Today is the fifth and final topic in the categories of troubled coworkers and leaders, and that is immaturity. This is a big one. This is kind of a catch-all, but it does talk about a very specific type of person. So far we've talked about some really heavy-duty, uncomfortable topics. We've talked about the other four categories are addiction, mental health issues, criminal activity, or drama stagers. Those are all pretty heavy-hitting issues that are tough for any of us to think about. We don't want to think poorly of people. We don't want to think about that any of those types of things may be taking place in our work environment, and that might be the root of the problem. But however, as we've talked about in the previous videos, sometimes that's the case. So, for today, we're going to talk about a little bit easier topic, and that is people who are simply immature. And these are the folks who don't take responsibility. These are the folks who have never grown up, and as I like to refer to it, they are stuck in the arm fart stage of development, because their behavior is much more appropriate for a junior high cafeteria than it is for an adult work environment. These are the folks that just simply, they just haven't matured as time has gone on. For whatever reason, they're stuck at a much earlier developmental level, and they live that way, and they talk that way, and they think that way, and they decide that way. And that can be exceedingly disruptive to a work environment, especially if there are a couple of them, or if there are even groups of them that are there, because immature people, just like kids in a junior high cafeteria, just like kids on a playground, they will band together and show off for each other and think that, well, if our whole group is doing it, then it must make it okay. It doesn't make it okay. It can be really hurtful and really devastating to people to be encountering an immature person at work and be unable to escape that situation. So what are some of the signs? There are some real classic signs of immaturity, and one of them is making fun of others. People who are just sitting making fun of others, who always have something smart alecky to say, those are not mature people. Now, any of us can at any given time say something that we shouldn't. We can say something that's not complimentary about someone, or we might even lapse into making fun of someone on occasion at some point in time. It doesn't mean we're right in doing that. The distinction is that it's not a pattern for us. It's a deviation from our normal behavior, how we normally think about and treat people. Doesn't mean, again, that it's right. It just means that it's different for us. For immature people, that's how they are all the time. That's their pattern. That's how they navigate the world, is they try and make themselves feel better by making other people feel much smaller. Bullying. Immaturity is very much at the heart of bullying. When one person is trying to dominate and overpower and shame and humiliate another, that's absolutely bullying. This is where harassment falls into this part of the category, and this type of situation can end up being deadly because people can and have taken their own lives because of the severe bullying that they are experiencing, whether it's kids in a high school or whether it is adults in a work environment. People end up losing their lives over this stuff. So bullying is a really huge issue. Immaturity, that's just one of the ways that immature people navigate the world, is to really just be deliberately destructive to others. And again, kind of like with the drama stagers, it's a choice. Except when you're immature, you do it because you don't know any better, you're not choosing any better. It's not actually a pathological reason why you're doing it. It's more of a just haven't grown up yet type of a thing. Doesn't make it any less devastating, it just means that it's coming from a different place within them. Temper tantrums, that's another thing. If you've got someone that gets easily offended, someone that gets easily wounded, easily insulted, and I'm not talking about somebody says something mean to them and they say, hey, that hurt my feelings, or they have a reaction to that has a little bit of anger in it. I'm talking about people whose reaction is like a toddler, really, like a toddler being told no. If something happens in the work environment that they disagree with, that they get offended by, that type of a thing, then you're probably dealing with immaturity. Now, as it turns out, immaturity can be actually one of the easiest things to work with, one of the easiest things to change in the work environment. And here's how it happens, and we're going to talk about this more later in the book. You have to have leaders who set the expectation that the work environment is going to be a healthy, positive, productive, safe environment for everyone. You have to have that. Otherwise, immaturity gains a lot of traction, and then it just grows. It grows like a fungus until it just covers everything. It's ridiculous the degree to which this can hijack, actually, a work environment. The other thing you have to have is you have to have a mentor or a coach or someone that the troubled individual, the immature individual, either respects or that has authority over them in a positive way, someone that's higher up the ladder that can help them learn how to grow up, how to be more professional, how to deal with people in a more productive way. So if you've got an expectation that the behavior is going to be healthy and you've got a coach or a mentor, then immature people are actually pretty easy to work with, because when they start being able to gain more from growing up than they do from continuing to do their arm farts during adult business meetings, then they're going to make the change. They don't have anything in all likelihood inhibiting them from making that change. No psych issues, no addiction issues. Now, a person can have potentially all 5 of the categories of trouble that we've talked about, but those people would be extremely, extremely rare. So for the most part, there's a lot of hope if you're dealing with an immature individual. I know they can be a real pain to deal with. They can be very hurtful and very upsetting to deal with, very frustrating and maddening. I get that, completely get that. But in this particular situation, it's actually a lot easier fixed than some of the other things that require some pretty heavy-duty work to try and get that situation corrected. So that's it for now, my friends. We are all the way through the 5 categories of troubled coworkers and leaders. Where we're going to go next in this book is we're going to talk about assessing the impact that the problem has on you, because we've talked about what's wrong with the other people. Now we need to talk about what's going wrong for you. How is it impacting your life? Because bad work environments, unhealthy work environments, unsafe work environments all have some common outcomes for people who are healthy and trying to survive in them, and that's what we're going to talk about next time. Thanks for joining with me. Thanks for sticking with me all the way through the series. I hope it's been educational and useful for you. Until next time, come and join me on my website at debhollandlcsw.com, and I would love for you to connect with me on my Facebook page at Deb Holland PhD. I'll look forward to seeing you there. Have a great day.